Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, The Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, B.
Good morning. How you doing, Mama?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
You too, look at you. What's going on over there?
Oh,
Come
nothing
on.
much. Just the one I picked.
Oh,
What you got going today?
like it. Same old. Let's start out feeding the ducks. Good morning, everyone. Let's see who do we have in with us. Oh, Miss Latasha from the ATL says, good morning, family. A rainy day in ATL. Love y'all. Miss Brenda Davis says, good everything, everyone. So welcome, you guys. Hope that you had an opportunity to come in and feed these ducks with us. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get this baby started. So good to see you, Bone. You look so
Me too.
good.
Well, thank you. I just put on a little collar shirt. That's all I did. Nothing special.
All right. Collar. That's a daily motivation. I put on a collar shirt today. That's one we could write. That's what we need to do. We need to write our own collar shirt.
Right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the In This Season podcast. We appreciate y'all joining us. I am your co-host. This is your lovely host, the Butterfly, Tammy herself, my mother, and we are going through daily motivations for African American success. If you haven't gotten the book, make sure you go get the book. My mom has a nice, crisp, clean, with the corner still intact, as opposed to mine. Mine's a little weathered and tethered. But please go get that book, high value, low cost book by an African American writer who needs to be celebrated for all of the work that he's done. He's done a couple great works that I do suggest that you read. But the reason that we've been going through this is for inspirations, motivations, and thoughts to ponder, inspire, and teach. So we're in hopes of this. We're trying to give daily motivations every single day for our success through the lens of through the African American lens, our history, our context. So this book, Daily Motivations for African American Success, will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Edelman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So that's the book that we've been going through. Make sure you get that book again. And over to you, Mom, unless you want us to go ahead and push on with the show and go with our daily reading.
You know what Mama just realized?
What?
Mama didn't put these things up here. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm thinking we on day 293. It's 294. That's all right.
294. Look at
I
that
can make
time
it
going
happen. I can
by.
make it happen. But no, it's all good, Brandon. It's all good today. All good. Still just kind of working, getting things in order. I'm so proud of me. Stayed up late last night, but I just could not stop. I was determined to get some things done so that I could get some things done. Get some things done so that I could do some things. Like I don't know. It's just
Just preparing.
this purging thing. Like my New Year, it's New Year's for me. You know how we just kind of wait for New Year's and say we're gonna do it, and we start out good. I'm not waiting. I want clearance. I just want space. So just getting a lot of things in order so that I can be more in order, right? So I realized I've been playing with it a little bit too, you know? Just gonna keep it real. I've been playing with some stuff that could be, I'm just gonna say it like this: where God's gonna take me, I gotta be ready. I gotta
Mm.
be ready to accept it, right? I remember Steve Harvey saying his mom told him, "You ain't gonna get no new car," and and he finally just asked her. He said, "Well, why do you keep saying it?" She said, "Cause you still got the old one out there and it ain't even running. You ain't even moved it. If you get it, where you gonna park the new one?" So
Good point.
yeah, so stayed up and just gosh, it was about 2 o'clock. So but I still got up and got in. Didn't even need the alarm clock. Got up and went in my war room. And y'all, I'm telling you, sometimes I feel like y'all might be thinking like, why does she keep talking about it? But I'm telling y'all, try God. And I'm saying try it. And I'm gonna also tell you, just when you do, be ready. Be ready for some stuff. But if, if you don't try God, you better be thinking God right there with you, that He's there with you. Are we buffering this morning? It's different because life's gonna pop on you. But hey, when it pops and you ain't alone. Let's see. Brandon, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. It's
There
just
was a lot
buffering
of
on you a
buffering.
little bit. Yeah, I see you buffering. I can barely hear what you're saying because it just keeps buffering, but it's all good.
Yeah, I think you as well. It was. Oh, here we
Right.
go. Here we go.
How about now? Am I good now?
Yeah, let's just move on a little bit. Let's try. Let's do what we got to
Let's do what we
do.
got to do before you never know with them, right?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you good. All right, so y'all,
Right.
we're gonna jump into
Okay.
the selection for today. Today is November the 20th. Y'all, we're almost to that Thanksgiving break, almost turkey time. But November 20th, our title is Deal Me In. Deal Me In. And our quote from a distinguished African American comes from none other than Martin Luther King Jr., the civil and human rights activist, who said, "There's more power in the open hand than in the clenched fist." There's more power in the open hand than in the clenched fist. One of life's best kept secrets is that including other people in our goals lends energy and impetus toward reaching that goal. The old stereotype of the lonely, solitary striver grasping for recognition and achievement without regard for anyone else is actually a rare case. The truth is that people who achieve greatly usually share greatly. There are two types of people in this world: the excluders and the includers. Some people live to get everything they can. They exclude as many people as they can because they believe that will leave more of the goodies for themselves. The
Mm.
includers, on the other hand, include others in everything they do. They share their lives, including their rewards, and because they are so adamant about sharing, they are able to obtain more and give more of what life has to offer. Sharing is so basic to human experience. It's so basic to the human experience. Have you ever noticed how many of the successful people you know enjoy including others in what they do? Sharing life with others, giving away with one hand what they've worked so hard to acquire with the other. Regardless of the profession, the truly successful always include others in some form or fashion. For example, top-notch teachers are those who have a compulsion to share what they know with their students. Successful performers are those who reach across the footlights and share themselves with their audiences. Great athletes are those who include their teammates in their achievements. High achievers are the big includers. The act of sharing what they have achieved gives their achievement more meaning. And our affirmation that we take with us is today, I will share my resources with someone looking for support. Today, I will share my resources with someone looking for support. Deal me in, mama. It's all yours.
Man, we just lost some people with this one. Today I will share my resources
They
with
said, oh
someone
no, mine.
looking for support. We just lost some people. Did we lose y'all? Y'all still there? No, Brandon, you know what? There's one part that really sticks with me.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the profession, the truly successful always include others in some form or fashion. Truly successful, regardless of the profession. That means to me, we had one made me think poor is the man who only possesses money. So this is not about successful in the way of money only, right? It's about who you are. Because when you begin to share with yourself, I'm taking it right back, y'all, because we got to realize that how we do anything is how we do everything. How you do you is how you do us and me, right? And you can't receive. I can't give you anything. Remember the one where the little boys ran out, the kids ran out to get something of value, and the little boy
Mm-hmm.
came back
Mm-hmm.
and he understood. Many of them didn't, right? The value, the value of what he went to get because it was set free, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to set ourselves free. You got to deal yourself in order to deal me in, right? You can't. You can't deal me in. There's more power in an open hand than in the clenched fist. Open up. If you want to receive, get in the place where what are you no, how much it said yesterday, something for nothing. How much it said money can you accept, right? Even how much giving can you accept? Because some people are so prideful. Brandon, you said that yesterday. You mentioned about cutting the face off to save the nose. Am I saying that right? People
Yeah, yeah.
will, they will
You cut
give,
off your nose to spite your face.
yeah, something like that. But sometimes you're not even, no one can deal you in. So we can flip flop this because there are people who are willing to share their resources, but some of y'all ain't even willing to ask. Pride, ego. I used to be one. Needed, had people that could give, but they ain't gonna know I need nothing, right? You know, they ain't gonna know I need nothing, right? Ego. So it's two ways. Can you deal me in? Can I deal you in? What does that mean? But the true professions, no matter the profession, I'm sorry, the true successful people, a success of the heart, a success of the mind, unity, humanity, love, kindness, right? Can't give it, can't deal me in if you ain't first dealt yourself in. Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. When I kind of laughed internally when I read Dr. King's quote here that said, there's more power in an open hand than in a clenched fist." When I first thought of it, my mind went to slapping somebody. I was like, oh, okay, open hand slap, might be better than a punch. That might give a little bit more pow than bang, I guess. Um, but I laughed because I remember that he was a pacifist until the latter part of his life. But I think I tell my kids this all the time. You have to share. You have to share. You have no choice but to share. You were born sharing this earth, sharing communities with other people that aren't like you. So sharing is a natural part of life, but based on who do you share with? I think a lot of us have a maybe a bad taste in our mouth by sharing and being giving to other people because we expect something in return, right? We expect, well, if I give this, then they should give me this back. Like we expect a return on investment, maybe even more than what we gave. And we're with that expectation, we're not giving with the right spirit, with the
Mhm.
right intention, so that when we give, there's no fruit to bear from that giving because either our intention wasn't there, other people felt it, they felt condescended in the way that we gave. We might have given in a way that puffed ourselves up by our ego. You know what I mean? I'm giving this charity, sending reminders of the charity that you've given to others and done in your past.
Mhm.
And so I think that kind of uh, undercuts and kind of subverts the goodness that could come from sharing your provision. Now that doesn't go to say you should go out here being like MC Hammer did and giving away everything that God had blessed him with, to the point to where he was in need himself. I'm not saying that's the best thing to do. I'm not saying that it's going to be spiritually bad for you to give up everything you own for charity or for whatever. But from my understanding, the first charity is due to your own family, the people under your care, right? The people under your sphere of influence, right? In your proximity. And I think it's easier sometimes for us to give to people that we don't know, to give to someone that we don't have the ability to check back in and see, okay, how are you doing with this? That we can't micromanage,
Yeah.
right? Because then we can feed our ego and say, if it weren't for me, this person that I remember this long time ago wouldn't have had this or this charity organization or whatever. But it's a little bit harder when it comes to the reality of somebody's humanness, their human nature, their the faults that we all have. If you give someone $1 million, there's not a you can't promise that $1 isn't going to go toward just their entertainment, just for them to feel good or something that you wouldn't have spent that money on. And a lot of times if we give charity or we share something, it comes with these earmarks. Well, I want you to do this with this, and you need to do it exactly as I want you to do it. Where that's not the spirit of giving. You give when you're led to give. Um,
Exactly.
you give when you're led to give, and whatever the consequences of that are, you have a duty to make sure that your guidance is good guidance. To check with your value system if your giving aligns with your principles, aligns with your morals, aligns with your value system. So not just giving to give, but why are you giving? What's your intention for giving? These are the things that you should purify inside of yourself first, right? So that you're not giving out of ignorance, right? And just because you don't know what God's plan is doesn't mean that you're giving in ignorance. You might not know exactly where the money is going to end or exactly what they're going to do with it. But I think there's a little faith in that. You can ask God, ask for guidance, things like that. But I think we are the filters that need to be purified first before we even get to that situation. Mom, I remember you telling me a story. I think it was about like Will and Jada some years ago, where they had already decided that if something happened with their
Mhm.
children or if they were sick or something while they were at this award show, whether they were receiving awards or not, they would leave.
Mm-hmm.
right? They would leave. The decision was already made.
Mm-hmm.
So at the point to where the decision is before them to make, and they're at that fork in the road, they already know which way they're gonna go, as opposed to getting to that fork in the road and then having to decide, right? So make the decision earlier inside of yourself on you know what you can give, what your intentions are with the giving. And that's just in charity. Now charity and sharing are different things, right? Sharing means allowing others into the space that you feel like you own, or that you feel like is rightfully yours, or you may feel like you've worked hard with. There was one part in here that said giving with the so sharing life with others, giving away with one hand while you've worked so hard to acquire with the other. And that reminds me of a verse. I forget
Mm-hmm.
where I heard it from, where it might be a hadith saying that, a person being so charitable to where their left hand doesn't know what the right has given,
Yeah.
right? Keeping your charity keeping it so close to you, and keeping such a secret about it in yourself, that your left hand doesn't know what the right hand has given. But as far as sharing, when you share your life with others, that's not just that's not just the benefits that come to you, right? You also are a person that receives an equal share. So when you give, you're more likely to receive. It's hard to receive with a clenched fist, right? When you give something, you have an open hand, and that's the only way, in my spiritual opinion, why, um, or by just the mercy of God, that you can receive more. But if you have a clenched and tight fist, it's hard to hold on to anything. So you also share your life experiences, you share the goodness, but you also have, your ego isn't so big to where you can't share your need. Like you said earlier, Mom, ain't nobody gonna know that I need anything. But that's also a
Mm-hmm.
part of sharing, right? If you have people in your life that care about you, if you care about you, then don't be afraid to ask for help when you need
Right.
it. Don't be afraid, because that's sharing as well. You have an opportunity to share not just your benefits, but also your struggles, and knowing that no burden is light enough to carry alone, that any burden can be made easier where there are two, where there are three, where there's a support, right? So maybe you're the person in need of those resources, but if you are, then realize that you cannot get what you haven't given. If you want to get more, give more. That was one of the things that we read a couple months ago. So all this means, guys, is to encourage you to give intentionally, to give regularly, to share, because and realize that that is a part of your human nature, that we are not independent creatures in and of ourselves, but we are interdependent with each other, with other communities. Um, so it's to be more intentional about your giving, to make decisions about your giving. Like the affirmation says, today I will share my resources with someone looking looking for support, right? That person could be you. That person, you could need those resources and support, but how do you put yourself in line or in the runnings in order to receive? You first give. So find a place that you can give honestly, right? That find a way that you can give secretly. I challenge you all to do that, to really check your ego and try to give in a way that no one notices. Don't tell anyone about it. If there's a
Exactly.
person that needs something, go to them directly. Or if you can, give it to them in secret. Don't even let them know about it. If there's a way, I think it's better for our spirits and for our souls and for the purification of our hearts to do things in that way, especially if we struggle, and we all do, with ego, especially if we struggle with um, stinginess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I think the American way is very individualistic. It's
Yeah.
very like we read about, and it's interesting because yesterday we read about competition. If I'm not mistaken,
Brandon,
we read
let's just
about.
also hit, because we's talking about daily motivations for African American success. Let's just go ahead and say black folks. We
Oh
have
yeah,
become very individualistic. My. Remember where I was talking to I was at the India Fest, and the man asked me, he like mean no harm. I mean no harm, but what has happened? Because Black people didn't used to be like this. They lived together, right? They did things together. They made sure everybody was okay. Now we want the 6-bedroom house, and now you can't come stay with me. And I wouldn't even know you was there because the 6-bedroom house. So y'all, I didn't mean to cut you off, Brandon, but
No, you good, man.
As you talk about, let me share this. With Brandon, I think you're coming from, not that that's what you mean in its totality, but it's kind of about money, right? But y'all, can you deal me in with grace? Can you deal me in with forgiveness? Can you deal me in and just try to have understanding for me when I'm going through something? Can you deal me in? Because it says here, sharing is so basic to the human experience, right? To the human experience. Some of us them got so far and so deep in fighting ourselves till we're not even human anymore. Notice how people walk around. The animals seem to have more sense than people. It's like you could sit down and have a better conversation with them that you may feel like, because a dog will go at least go, turn his head something. Sometimes you're talking to people and it's like you're talking right through them, like they're not comprehending anything that you say. So it says sharing is so basic to the human experience. Have you ever noticed how many of the successful people enjoy? They enjoy including others in what they do. Sharing life with others, giving away with one hand, as Brandon talked about, what they've worked so hard to acquire with the other. Regardless of their profession, the truly successful, I'll say again, always include others in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I think it's also important to determine which person you are. And you have to have wisdom, because sometimes God may want somebody to go through a difficult time so that they will learn and be a better steward over what He has given them already, so that they can be prepared to accept. How much more money can you accept? How much more forgiveness? And then how much can you give? And then some people just need to keep it real with themselves. Brandon, you mentioned that it's easier for us to give to people that we don't know. Oftentimes I think that's because you don't know them. So you don't know if they're being a good steward. You're looking at, I can help somebody. I don't know somebody, right? I can help them, but I don't know their story. I remember a friend telling me that a family member called, no lie, y'all, and asked to borrow $600 to buy some 4th of July fireworks for a party they was having, a 4th of July party.
And wanted to borrow that?
Wanted to borrow $600 to buy. It was a big party, a big thing, right? So can you deal yourself in first? So can you deal yourself? And some people, you just need to get up and do something different. So you have to have wisdom. I pulled up, like, how do you determine if you should give someone something? It says to decide whether you should give someone money, talking about money, consider factors like your financial situation. Because a lot of relationships have been broken because of money. Because you could loan somebody some money, and they're gonna take, if you need your money back when they said it for a bill. Trust me and believe, very few people are going to give you your money back to pay your bill before they take care of their needs and wants, right? And oftentimes, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where if somebody owes you some money and you see them like they style and profile and traveling, doing the do. And soon as you ask them for your money, you get it, but they get mad. They give it like, I'm gonna give you your money, da da da. See, y'all, you got to have the right heart, right? It says the nature of your relationship is something else that you should consider with the person. The nature of your relationship, the nature of the person, right? that's asking.
Mhm.
The reason they need the money, whether the gift could create negative dynamics, and if you're comfortable with the potential impact on your own finances. Always prioritizing your own financial stability first, right? And sometimes we feel like guilty if we do that. It says, if unsure, communicate openly with the person to understand their needs and your ability to help. And so that's a lot of
Mm.
things we don't do. We don't sit down and have the open communication when people want to be dealt in. Like if you want to, I'm sitting down playing spade. Hey, deal me in. Do you know how to play spade? Let's see. What's your game like?
Mm.
We need to
Mhm.
have that conversation. We're afraid of those open conversations. So y'all, deal me in, but deal you in too. Because how you do you is how you will do me, right? And giving, we talked about kindness the other day. You know, giving is not just of money. You know somebody's hungry, feed them, right? So deal me in, but where is in? What does in look like? If you deal me in, what are you gonna do for me? My brother will understand this. I just had this thought come into mind. How as when we were little, someone dealt us in. They let us come stay with them, but they treated us like shit. Like shit. So you see what I'm saying? Sometimes you could deal people in and they still ain't in. It's all about.
Mm.
So you gotta check your heart. You gotta check your heart. And
Yeah.
always have the conversation. Always get clarity. And if
Mm.
people ain't open to getting clarity, then hey, we ain't no cards here. I can't deal you in. Let me put these cards back. Because like I said, watch Judge Judy. Most of those in any court show. I loaned them some money. Said we're gonna pay me back when my taxes come. Taxes done came 2, 3 years.
Man.
They done bought 3, 4 cars, right? Went to Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I get it because I've been on both sides of it. But I tell y'all, I've even been on the side where I remember I was thinking about this a few days ago. How Miss Rossi, Brandon,
Mm.
we'll get ready to get out
Rest
of
the
here.
soul.
Yeah, rest her soul. I never forget Miss Rossi, and another neighbor that lived right across from me. But man, I was broker than broke. Um, but for whatever reason, y'all, I mean, and I say it was God, and I wasn't wearing doing, just going after God as I do now. Like wasn't praying, no war room, none of that. May pray here, may pray there. Um, but my neighbor who didn't have a lot, she had 4 kids, 4 girls, right? Was it
Mm.
4? Yeah, 4, right?
Yep. Yep.
4.
Sade, Nicole,
And
Sequoia,
I
Erica.
never forget one day she cut, and we weren't just like we were at that time. We weren't like we just hadn't gotten where we ended up as being so close. She knocked on my door and said, "Hey, God told me to go and give you these $20. $20." And at that time, $20 made a whole lot of difference in my life. I mean, and so
Yeah. I know.
it's deal me in, y'all. Deal me in.
Rossi dealed you in right there.
She dealt me in.
Yeah.
You know, I was going through a
Mhm.
hard time. That same place, my neighbor who lived directly in front of me, I'll never forget it. Never forget them. She knocked on the door and said her son, who was about 9 or 10, something like that, they would get their allowances, and she said he told her, "Take Miss Tammy out to lunch with my allowance, Mom." Y'all, I'm telling you, God will take care of you. And so it's okay for you to take care of people. But make sure that people learn and want to take care of themselves and know what that means. Help people deal themselves in. Help
Mm.
them be okay with, hey, it's time for you to be the dealer in this game. You know, with spade, everybody it goes around. Everybody got to be the dealer. And some people who they can't deal the cards, so somebody else has to deal for them. Learn how to deal for yourself. Because what you do for you, you'll do for me. Right? Learn how. So that's all I have, Brandon.
Sounds good, y'all. That's the show. You want to go over
I
any
do
comments
want
before we
to
wrap
get
out?
the comments before we wrap up.
All
See,
right.
where did I leave off here? Big Mike says, good morning. Big Al. Sal Alvin Williams Jr. is back in the house. He says, good morning. Latasha says, both of you are looking good. Thank you, Latasha.
Thank you, cuz.
Auntie
There you
Retta
go.
says, good morning, Butterfly Nephews and everyone. Cousin Monique says, good morning, everyone, and have a blessed day. Thank you, Monique. And thank you for sharing the videos. I really, 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 we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, Glow Show. Miss Glow Hall from Holcomb,
Okay.
Grenada. I guess I should say, good morning, sis. Love you, girl. Love you too. We got to catch up. And then Latasha says, got to go. Basically, she's volunteering for Tyson's school today. So,
Okay. Okay.
y'all,
Well,
good to see you.
we're gonna let Cuz get out of there and do that thing. Tell Tyson I said what's up. I actually need to call Tyson. So y'all, I love y'all very much. Let's go on with our day, and I appreciate y'all for being here on day 294 in the season podcast as we've been reading through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success. Again, today's title was "Deal Me In." And our quote came from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil and human rights activist, who said, just so I don't get this wrong, there's more power in the open hand than in the clenched fist. He ain't talking about an open hand slap. He's talking about giving. He's talking about sharing. And our affirmation for the day that I want you guys to carry, share amongst yourself. You can even make a video, your own video. Even if you don't share this, just share the spirit of this, of yourself, and say, hey, y'all, today I will share my resources with someone looking for support. And I bet you get a lot of DMs. Y'all say, hey, y'all, I'm willing to share some resources for people looking for support. I bet you'll get more people to say hey to you, check on you, how you doing. But just take notice. Just take notice, guys, before we get on to a whole nother subject. Because I feel you
I'm
over there
not gonna
bubbling,
start
mama.
looking to get. Hey, just
I
post
feel you
on there. Hey,
bubbling.
I'm gonna cash up somebody today who needs something. Just put that on you and just see. They'll see
Man,
that now. They won't see you asking for some support, but they'll see
man.
your post for getting some. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's the show, y'all. That's all we got for you today. Thank y'all for joining us and letting us be a part of your morning routine. Get more over here so we can have more join the party. And Mom, I'm still looking forward to that Saturday get together for all of us. So hopefully we can get that going here soon. Well, as y'all listen to this music that's called Feed the Ducks, y'all go ahead and vibe out. Mom, you got anything else before we go?
hold me accountable to let you guys know by Tuesday of next week. Hold me accountable. Y'all tell me Tuesday.
All right, we're
And
gonna put it down.
yeah, put it down, Miss Brenda. You know, we gonna have to hire Miss Brenda.
Miss Brenda, you ain't retired no more.
That's right. We need some help over here. Hey,
Right,
share
right.
your support, share your resources with somebody looking for support. Deal me and Brandon in.
All right,
Come
y'all. We
on,
love
girl.
y'all.
Behind the scenes. Love y'all. Come on,
We'll
Brandon.
see
How
y'all
we do
next
it?
time.
How we do it? Come on. Great.
All right, y'all. Take care. Peace.